Hello everyone, and welcome to another video by Conciliation of the People. Today we're going to talk about Cain and Abel. I think this story is extremely important. It is the second teaching in the Bible and the Tanakh. It talks about something that humans really go through a lot, and it's something we struggle with, I think, daily. For some of us, definitely daily. And I think it's overlooked. The story is overlooked because, killing is bad, but it's really overlooked. And I think that maybe even some teachings have assumed some things, because I was speaking to somebody the other day that had like almost inserted the assumption that Cain didn't work as hard as Abel. And I didn't remember reading that when I was reading it. I didn't receive any teachings from the church or a synagogue. I went to church maybe 20 times growing up. And even in the last few years, adding to that, I went in the last few years on my own accord, and that was through guidance. And I really resonated with some of what I was hearing, and it inspired me to dig into why. And doing all of that opened my eyes to the fact that religion actually might have something there. Not the institutions that are set up today, but the sacred texts themselves. And I had always really resonated with the things that I had heard in my yoga class more than anything else that I had heard. And I learned today in my comparative world religion class that I'm actually like mostly Hindu in my beliefs, which I think is really cool. So I'm starting to recognize that what I've been hoping to find in this course, which would be the truths are in all of the religions that we have, not just one. I'm excited that it's starting to really feel that way, with the way that I've been resonating with the truths that I've come to for myself on my spiritual journey. I'm not professing anything. I am a spiritual being on a spiritual journey, and I'm looking at everything in an unbiased way so that I don't miss anything. And I still miss stuff, and when I go back and look at it, a few months later, because I'm guided to, it's because I didn't see it in a certain way the first time. And that's happened to me many times in reading the Bible and the Tanakh, because it is multidimensional. The text is not just about the people. It goes deeper than that. And in order to understand the multidimensionality of it, we need to understand the linearity of it. So we need to look at what's there first, and then we can start moving on to another level. If we can't look at what's on this linear plane that we're looking at right here, how can we even build on it? Even Jesus said, like, if I can't tell you of earthly things and you believe them, if I can't show you these things, how can I tell you and show you of heavenly things and you believe it? Like, we can't start here and you not be on the same page and then try to move up here, because we're gonna get lost. It doesn't work very well. It gets very confusing, and then you want to back out and go away. And that's not how this is designed. It's supposed to be evolutionary. It's supposed to help you grow. So we're going to talk about this story again because it's the second teaching in the Bible after the story of Adam and Eve and the serpent. And it's overlooked. This is something we go through every day, and it's overlooked, and we really need to consider this. So first, I'm going to show my Tanakh. This is what I read the most, especially obviously for Old Testament. But I like to look at it for the multidimensionality of the text, because this goes back and tries to translate it per the words as best as possible from ancient Hebrew, which, if you don't know anything about Hebrew and ancient Hebrew, almost pretty much being wiped out as a language, you really should look that up, because it's pretty interesting that that's actually what happens. So there's really no true way to know what these words meant to these people at the time. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. I don't know how to read Hebrew. I want to put that out there. I don't know how to read Hebrew, but I did get this version because I would like to one day. When I took Latin in high school, I feel like sometimes I would translate things that made sense the way I translated them, to me, anyways. And if you don't know anything about Latin, it's really easy to mistranslate things because there are things that are very similar to other things. Or look exactly the same in spelling, but they're totally different in how they are used in the sentence. But I would translate things that seemed correct to me, and I would then turn it into my teacher, and then she would correct me into something that didn't really even make sense in English, but I have to recognize that English is a different kind of language than most other languages. So I'd have to really go back and try to do that again now in this different state of mind that I've been in, where I've been more open and receptive to things rather than just thinking that I'm right about everything, as I was as a teenager, as we all have been guilty of, I'm sure. So let's dive in. This is Genesis 4, Cain and Abel. Now the man knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and bore Cain, saying, I have gained a male child with the help of the Lord. She then bore his brother Abel. Abel became a keeper of the sheep, and Cain became a tiller of the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought an offering to the Lord from the fruit of the soil, and Abel, for his part, brought the choicest of the firstlings of his flock. So I'm going to stop right here because it says, and Abel for his part. So I think that it's safe to imply that Cain had a part too, because it says that Abel had a part. Cain had a part too. And this also was something that when God was speaking to Noah about the ark and what he needed to do, the Lord said, for my part, and he started talking about the floods and what he was going to do. And he said, for your part, you need to go get the animals and get the food for all of you to eat. So this kind of comes back to this again. There's a part here that both of them had. Next, the Lord paid heed to Abel and his offering, but to Cain and his offering he paid no heed. Now, it doesn't say anything, again, about either one of them doing better or worse. They both had a part, and they came forward and presented the Lord this part. I also want to point out here, this offering doesn't say sacrifice. I know that it has ended up meaning that, but this does not say sacrifice. It's talking about a presentation, showing somebody something. So when Cain did not have any attention, did not have acknowledgement, he was much distressed and his face fell. I know I can relate to this. There have definitely been times in my life where I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing and I wasn't getting the acknowledgement, I wasn't getting the praise, maybe I wasn't getting the pay that I deserved. So I know how that feels, and I've been disgruntled. I definitely have been, and it's not healthy to be there. It's not, because then you're going to end up doing yourself and the place that you're at a disservice, or the people that you're around a disservice, by staying somewhere where you're not happy. So he was staying here in this place. He was not happy in this place, but he stayed here, distressed, and his face fell. And so then the Lord said to Cain, why are you distressed, and why is your face fallen? Surely if you do right, there is uplift. But if you do not do right, sin couches at the door. Its urge is toward you, yet you can be its master. Now, this is where the Lord is trying to explain to Cain that it doesn't matter whether you get acknowledgement or praise as to whether or not there's uplift. And I want to point this out real quick. This footnote is another reason why I like this Tanakh. It says that the meaning of the verse is uncertain. And that's because this is actually regarding multidimensionality. So because of this, I do for a second want to go back to a Bible for this particular portion of the passage. So I'm going to go to my NIV, and here it says, again, why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? So again, will you not be accepted? This is where the uplift is. Will there not be uplift? This is where the linearity comes in. The Bible's really good to help us understand the linearity of it. So the Lord is trying to say, it doesn't matter who sees or says what. You need to have integrity, basically, and be okay with how things go, and not worry about what everybody else has going on or the responses. When the Lord needs to come to us for a reason, he will. So it's kind of like, until then, almost like no news is good news. So long as you're doing right, you will be accepted by God. Like, you are within the parameters of what the Lord wants. So it doesn't matter if you don't feel from other people or even God himself that you are getting this like praise that you need. You shouldn't need praise. You should just know that you are loved no matter what, and that when you do what is righteous, when you do what is right, you're fine. But if you do not do what is right, so if you choose to stay angry and choose to be upset, which means you're probably going to start taking it out on people, sin is crouching at your door. It's literally right there. So as soon as you choose not to do something that is right, that is sin. That's being without God. In Spanish, sin means without. So sin is an action done without God. So as soon as you do not do something that is right, sin is right there. Like, that is what it is. And it desires to have you, but you must rule over it. It does, like, it wants you as a human. We are separated from God, so your human wants to be human. Your human wants it to be instinctual. And you have to break free from that and remember that God loves you. So just do what you need to do, and it's okay if you don't see what you think you need to see, because in time you'll get the things you need. It's kind of like that song, you may not get what you want, but in time you'll get what you need. Your wants are worldly desires. So you kind of have to back off from that. If you want to receive recognition or praise from God, you might want to consider that desire, because that's kind of worldly to want that. But if you want to have a relationship with God, that's totally different. That's different than feeling like the need or the entitlement to have the praise, to have the acknowledgement. But to begin a relationship with God, that's totally different. So you must rule over it. Going back to the Tanakh, yet you can be its master. You can be the one in charge. So you can either be a slave to the sin, or you can be the master over it, meaning you stay in connection with God. Now, obviously, we know what's next. If you know about the story of Cain and Abel, Cain did not do what was right. He did not choose to continue to do what was right. He chose to stay in this place. And he said to his brother, "Come, let us go out into the field." And when they were in the field, Cain set upon his brother Abel and killed him. We definitely don't want to go there. We don't want to be there ever. So it's really important to really catch yourself This is being like a conscious witness, or yeah, witness to your consciousness, however you want to say it. But this is taking that moment to recognize whether or not you're in charge of the situation, or if you've allowed your emotions to take over and react. And most times when we react, it's not right. It's not righteous. It's unrighteous in some way, shape, or form towards somebody or even yourself. So this is definitely a story that's really important. This is something that we go through every day, whether it be like from other people that we expect to get this from, or expecting or having entitlement to think that these things are going to happen for you. The things that are meant for you will come to you when you finally put yourself in the place of receiving. You have to have yourself in that frequency to receive. But until then, you just need to have faith that you, as long as you're doing what is righteous, that those things will come when the time is right. So that's about all I have for tonight. I will be coming back to this scripture to break down the multidimensionality of it when I start breaking down some other scriptures as well. And then I'm also going to be posting like some of my findings that I've done in my comparative world religion class, because they are really interesting. My eyes and mind are ecstatic to be open to the degrees that they've been open to in the last few weeks. So I can't wait to see how much more that will be. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.